Hello, 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 everybody, and welcome to what should be another fantastic stream. I am pretty much almost there. I am literally just changing the last bits and bobs to something completely else. Should come up any minute. There we go. Zandvoort, the 2020 edition. The new circuit that was meant to be shown on F1 a few weeks ago, is now in Rfactor 2, and I thought I would give it a go. I've been practicing a little bit, and I think this is a perfect opportunity. It's going to take a little while just to set things up because I don't really stream Rfactor because of reasons. First of all, let's get back into the game and sort of like just turn down the audio of a little bit. Is there a master audio switch? I might just have to turn this down. And yeah, let's get started. In fact, before we do that, let's get our field of view organized. Why is the AI driving for me? Well, for some reason the AI is driving for me. And that is not good. I'm going to turn down the engine volume a lot. That's highly unusual. I never thought the AI would be driving for me. That's interesting. Let's try it again. There we go. Alright, I'm still not happy. Alright. Let's go around some Zandvoort. Alright, so how is everybody? I hope everyone's doing fine on this really sunny day in the UK and all in the world. Alright, so this is Zandvoort. And I'm assuming it is laser scanned. Got my steering a bit too heavy, but so let's take a new lap around Zandvoort in a minute. So for the most part, the track is sort of similar. I do not like the way this Porsche handles, but for the most part, the back end of the circuit is perfectly fine. It's perfectly fine. It's perfectly similar. It's the same as it's always been. The real difference is towards the end of the lap. This steering feels slightly weird. This is a created mod get it on the Steam Workshop, so it might just be the way this mod is interpreting things. But it feels slightly weird to me. This is the Porsche GT3 from 2016. So this is where we'll start to see the differences in the track. They've replaced the gravel trap and everything on the outside with this long, steep banking, which gives it a very Indy vibe, if you get what I mean. An Indianapolis vibe and stuff. And then when we come into the first corner, you notice they've redone the whole first corner. It's a lot smoother. But the biggest change, and the change that I think is the most interesting, is this corner here, the banking here. It feels very good to drive. However, my concerns with that going into an F1 race is what happens if someone crashes. We just go slightly wide. And I saw an incident the other month of a race that took place on the new track, and someone crashed into that wall there and flipped the car over. So it looks quite dangerous from my point of view, but from a sim racing point of view, it's very nice to go around. Oh, and I also forgot the section coming up has what feels like has been widened. Not too much the entry, but around here it just feels a lot more wider than it does in other sims. We go back on this banking. Actually, I want to say one thing about this banking, is that I think when it comes to racing, the tire flex is going to be a big thing.
141.66.
Tire flex there is going to be a big thing. So, of course, whenever I think of F1 and banking, I'm brought back to the United States Grand Prix in Indy at 2005 with the Michelin tires. So I'm hoping none of that happens again. But overall, and maybe this isn't the best car to do it since this is a modded car, but I honestly think this is a really exciting track and to race on, for at least sim racing purposes. Whether or not to watch it, unknown. I imagine lap times in an F1 car will be somewhere in the 1 minute 12s based on the early video game progress for F1 2020. Do love that. Take this. The steering feels heavier on this. I can't remember what my force feedback settings are set for this particular car, if there is any, but yeah, it does feel good. And trust me, I'm not going for outright pace here. This is just a nice bank holiday Monday in the UK drive. But yeah, it feels pretty good.
That was a 141.34.
Of course, this car has ABS. Does not have traction control, I don't think. There's one thing there, is that corner there, the second corner. You instinctively want to take a closer line into it. So you accidentally knock our crank bias a bit. But it just... you end up going wide, you end up hitting that curb, and then... it's just a strange corner. Try and do it better for the next time, but missed the apex there. This track is definitely one of those tracks where it's hard to master. It's easy to drive, hard to master getting the brake points. We almost go off there. And what we'll do in a minute is I'll do just a simple AI race around here. Or actually before that, maybe I should jump into a more appropriate car for it, for the practice. Before we go into it, perhaps an F1 car. I know that we're half a second up.
That was a 140.89.
Yeah, total ABS on this machine. Alright, let's go to, let's test this out with a different car. So you can see the super slow motion Porsche. The Porsche that you can get in Project Cars 2. Alright, let's do let's get back onto the, let's do an F1 car. Oh, this is, that Porsche was in the GT3 World Series mod. Well, you know, in the community hub. So if you want it, you can download it there. Shall we do something? Let's do Max Verstappen. I'm not entirely sure what this mod was, the F1 2017. Let's go and see what it's like driving Max Verstappen around Zandvoort. Hopefully it's going to be an interesting thing. It's probably the most realistic you'll see. I haven't got my steering wheel set up for management of ERS or DRS actually, so it's going to be somewhat of a slow lap, but it'd be interesting to see how the track feels with something with a little bit more horsepower, a little bit more grunt, and with me probably spinning out because I am too trigger happy on the accelerator. It's what happens when you drive a lot of tin top cars, NASCARs, and other slower cars than your standard open wheelers. But yeah, it should be fun. I'm looking forward to it. And I haven't driven this mod actually before. It was one of the recent mods that I've gotten for Rfactor. In fact, I don't really play Rfactor 2 that often. For me, it's just, I'm a big fan of like simple interfaces that allow me to create the races I want to go in and just go and do it. Rfactor in that kind of regard feels a lot like Linux to Windows or Linux to Macintosh software. I just find the interface quite clunky, and I find well, look at that view. Look at that view. I just find it a bit clunky. Let us raise ourselves from this hellhole that we are in. Oh, we hit a button. Well, let's actually take a look at the, we hit a button that I didn't want to hit. I keep hitting the AI button as well. Alright. Let's go and have a drive around in Max Verstappen's Red Bull. Alright, first off, maybe this isn't the perfect car to drive. Feels very loose. Well, not loose, but like maybe the steering angle is wrong. Maybe it's just the fact that it's downforce. Maybe it's just a... See, I'm making a lot of... It feels like the steering is too sensitive. Maybe we'll get used to it. Alright, let's go around the banking and see what this feels like. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this isn't the most good feeling car. Tell you, the engine doesn't sound that good either. Maybe this is just not one of these mods that I have a feeling that maybe this isn't the best of mods to test this on. Or maybe I'm just getting used to the fact I'm driving an open wheel car with tons of downforce, tons of grip. Could be that. We'll find out in a minute. Just feels really clunky, this mod. Like, maybe it's my steering not being accurately set up for it. I don't know, it just feels slightly clunky.
The lap was a 1:20.15.
Wait, 120.5. We almost lose it under braking. Let's try and push it a bit. Totally missed the apex there. Missed the apex there, had to lift. I mean, it's easy to drive, which is what I think this is why it's not a particularly good mod. I'm getting, I got a heavy steering, but I don't really feel the bumps or anything. I feel them a little bit, but
The lap was a 1:19.00.
and that was that. There goes the wing. Look at that, using the force. Definitely not a 2017 model. Let's try it again with another car and just see where we're going to go from here. So maybe definitely not the... let's see what we got. We got the 1996 mods. 1998. Actually, I'll tell you what. I'm going to do it on this one. I haven't driven this before. What is this? Not the 1988. I've driven the 1988. We're gonna go the 1986 mod with Nigel Mansell. We're gonna see how that feels, and then we might do a race with this. I know what you're thinking. 1986 Zandvoort 2020. What are we doing here? Well, you know, I think it's interesting to see how different cars react to new layouts, and this layout is very smooth. And obviously the 1986 cars have a lot of torque, a lot of power, big fat rear tires, lots of turbo delay. So it should be more interesting, it should be more on the edgier seat sort of thing. It's a shame I haven't got a smaller round rim. I would have used the BMW rim for this, but it's a bit too big for F1 style rim, so I'm probably going to look at a smaller Fanatic circular rim, probably made of leather. So I might not have to wear my gloves. For those of you wondering why am I wearing gloves, well, in case you didn't know, direct drive wheels have the tendency of producing huge amounts of torque if you're not careful. And while I have my settings kind of not at the highest, sort of I would say probably within the first third to two-thirds of its power at any given time, that's just because, you know, weeb arms, strong wheel, don't want to break my thumbs. It's also the Alcantara on the wheels. I like to keep them as pristine as possible, and these gloves generally do it. And they're grippy, so they grip well with these wheels. That's generally the reason. Alrighty, this is going to be interesting and fun. I can't wait for this. Again, just need to remember to do that because I think we're too close. I'll tell you one thing that I did back in a few months ago is I was running the 1988 mod in VR, and all the tracks that was in that you get with the 1988 season. And in VR, it's just incredible. Telling you, there's something I just don't know. Maybe it's this car isn't right. Well, we're doing a lot of mod testing, so I suppose we can go back to the tried and true thing. It looks incredible. I'm just not feeling comfortable in it. Alright, well, let's just go straight into a race. You know, we've done enough testing and stuff. Let's go into a race. We're probably not going to drive this. Let's go for the Endurance Series GTE. Can we be a Corvette? Let's be a Corvette. And let's just look at session settings. 8 laps. I think that's fine. 100% AI strength. That's lower. That's 98. Let's drop us all the way down to last again so we can at least have a nice, or near enough last. Let's do 33 so we're not totally last. Yeah, let's go for it. Sorry about that, guys. We're trying to find the perfect car combo for this. That is a mod, and the 86 car, I don't know, maybe I need to have more time, but there's something odd with the steering with that. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, the 88 mod that you get for Rfactor 2 is really good, especially in VR. And honestly, when you're racing in VR, you can just... You ever get those... whenever you watch like the old classic onboard cameras where the camera is right there next to you, and you sort of seeing them going around, it looks all crazy and bumpy and stuff like that. When you put the VR on, it's sort of like that. You sort of get that immersion feel. And yeah, I was doing it on my previous wheel, the Thrustmaster TX lever, and it was so much fun in VR. I have my VR here, but unfortunately I don't have the room or my setup to put it up. Maybe I'll do some changes in the future for it because it was definitely fun. But yeah, that was pretty cool. Probably going to have to do the typical thing where I'm going to have to recenter everything because I've not raced in this Corvette before. I raced in the Ferrari earlier this week. So we'll do that. We'll get that all set up and then we'll restart the race because, yeah, as you can see, it's a little bit too close. hit the backspace as well. Watch the AI go crazy. There we go. Oh, we're in a field of Corvettes.
Green flag, go, go, go.
The Corvette Racing Championship. Corvette Racing Championship gets on grass. You know what? Something doesn't feel right again. I'm so sorry. I think it's the volume now. Audio. God, we're having real trouble. This is what I don't like about about Rfactor too much. Is that we end up having removal. We try and find the perfect race. You know what? I think it's just going to be... ...2020 IndyCars. Let's do that. Scott Dixon, because he's a ledge. Session settings. I think there's only 22 drivers in the team. Well, this is what I'm talking about, you know. This is what I'm talking about. We just struggling to find some stuff. Some good balance vehicles to mix with this track that are mods. I should probably not play with mods, but you know, that's the fun of Rfactor 2. And I'm glad everybody's here to join with me. You know, we may not be doing the most exciting of contents, but we're doing what the sim enthusiasts would spend ages doing, trying to find the right car and track combo. And I suppose that's exactly what we got to do. It's taken us 30 minutes. We've done some testing with two cars, and now, yeah, we're gonna do it with this. But the Indy cars, they're probably more fun. It's an up-to-date new mod. I trust it, so... And failing that, we'll just go back to Automobilista. Do some more testing there. But I don't think Rfactor gets enough love. Alright. Windshield. Windshield.
Green flag, go, go, go.
Totally being cheeky. Cheeky up, trying to get through the Penske. I suppose that is willpower, and we got Simon Pagenaud ahead. And we are Scott Dixon. And willpower goes spinning, or almost spins off. This feels much more like it. There's a lot more. This car feels very slippery. We got two Simon Pagenauds. I suppose this is exactly what F1 is going to be like when it comes here. It's going to be interesting to see as we get knocked in the backside. How are we going to overtake on this track?
That was a 1:36.08.
How are we going to overtake? And you can see the McLaren Arrow team. We've got Ryan Hunt and Ray next to us up here. Ray! Ah, there goes our wing. Still got downforce. Nope, that's it pretty much. Forgot to turn damage off. Oh man, it's going terribly. Maybe we shouldn't be doing streaming. That's it. Oh my. Should we try and restart that, I say? Let's try and restart that, try not spin. I know why, I had the same problem.
Green flag, go, go, go.
I had the same problem with the IndyCar mod for Assetto Corsa, just trying to keep the rears from spinning up. I'm too eager on the throttle. But this time we're going to take it a lot more easier than we probably should. We've got willpower on the left. No, we're not. Oh my god. My god, we are terrible. Alright. We are so terrible. So terrible. Alright. You get the general gist, though. Let's try a different game. Let's try a different game where we're not crashing or doing anything. Oh, man. I don't know what's wrong. Usually, I don't know if... Yeah, it's just one of those things. Let's go to Assetto Corsa Competizione. I always have a good time playing Assetto Corsa Competizione. Well, let's just summarize this. I suck at Rfactor 2. However, it's a bit of fun, and I would say that the Zandvoort track is pretty nice, and you know, it's easy to drive. You just need the right car to drive on it, and unfortunately, I'm not that driver. So make fun of me in the comments if you don't already. Because yes, it's a lot more difficult than you realize. But Assetto Corsa, let me just bring Assetto Corsa Competizione on here. Well, eventually we'll bring Assetto Corsa Competizione. Because it should work. Why is it not working? There it is. Dada, Assetto Corsa Competizione. Let's do a quick race, but we're going to do it at the Nürburgring, because I like the Nürburgring. We're going to not drive the AMG Mercedes. we're totally gonna drive my big. Should we do the Porsche? I feel like I should do the Aston Martin. We'll do it with the Laureus colours. Own colours, and we'll do 15 minutes, and we'll see where we come. Prepare for drop frame rates, though. This is gonna be one interesting stream of disappointment, is what I call it. But you know, if anybody's gonna play bad at games, it's gonna be me. It's always gonna be me. I've had some drop frames already. That's great. Can't even do. Add these to my footer. Alright. Shall we start? We're going to do the strat. Actually, we're not going to do the strat. There's one strat that Game of Muscle mentioned the other day that I thought I'd try, and it turned out to be really good. But anyway, let's start this. Textures are still loading up.
Green light, show them what you got. Car on the left.
Cheeky down the inside it. Surprised that we survived that.
Car on the left. Clear on the left. Car on the left.
I really don't know what's going on with the frame rate. Alright, I think I'm just gonna end the stream. I just think I'm gonna end the stream because I'm not getting performance here. And this has been quite a disastrous stream, so alright everybody, I'm sorry about this. We're just having some difficulties in streaming and everything, and I've been pretty terrible so far, so we will, I guess we'll see you later. Thank you for joining everybody, and yeah, take care.